Well, hello. Hello, and this is Purple Power Live, and I'm already choking. Who's in play tonight? Your $1,200 stimulus check is back in play in the CR negotiation. I see Margie's in play and Lisa's in play here tonight. And there's Chris in play. It's a lot of people in play in the Purple Power room tonight. And so is your stimulus check. Really exciting night. Paul's in play, and there's Keisha in play. Miss Ashley's in play, and Barbara Perez is in play. And there's Anne, she's in play, and Lori's in play tonight as well. Chris is in play, and Linda and Mary and Erica's in play. And Barbara's in play, and Mojo's in play in the second stimulus package as well. Dorothy and Angela and Loreno and Larissa are here as well. Well, here we go. And there is Margie and Rahom 941. What a night it is. Adam is in play as well tonight. Boy, where have we gone in just a few hours? Catalina's in play, and there's Adriana and Shina and Michelle and Lori. And there's Karen from Michigan, and Sophia and Linda and Lady and Barbara and Melody and Dreamweaver and Teresa and Melissa and Vincent and Mike Johnson. And there is Jane and Miss Whatever. Hazel Jean and Teresa and Diamond G and John and Karen and Keith and Angela and Sean. And there's Melody from Kalamazoo, and Barry is in play as well. Miss Ashley and Cheryl and Michelle is in play as well. And there's Dawn in play. And Irene and Jason's in play as well. James from Bacon Bacon Bacon. He brought me some bacon. Wow. So there you go. What's up, says Jennifer. So let me tell you what's up tonight. Boy, there's a lot of stuff what's up tonight. So this is where we are. Let's recap, because I know it may be confusing. The federal budget bill that has to be done by December 11th. There's no deadline. There's no way around that deadline. The federal budget bill that operates the federal government is due by December 11th. They do not agree to it by December 11th. The federal government shuts down. It has happened before many times. The federal budget bill has to be approved by the Senate, approved by the House, and then signed by the president. All three steps have to occur. All those bodies of government are in session, so they're not leaving. They have to vote on it. So we got that clear. Last Sunday, I said, let's start the campaign of hashtag CR for Stimulus. And CR for Stimulus was to urge that stimulus would go in the CR, the continuing resolution, which is what the budget bills call continuing resolution, or CR. Well, we succeeded, because by Wednesday, Mitch McConnell said, oh, we're putting stimulus in the CR, and there's no ifs and buts about it. He went to the president, and he met the president at the White House, the first time in nearly 6 months, and he asked the president, what do you want to have in here? The president gave some ideas, and ultimately the president said, I'm going to allow Mitch McConnell to negotiate the CR, the Caucedo representative. I'm going to have Mitch McConnell negotiate the CR on behalf of the Republicans. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I told you that Joe Biden is the chief negotiator for the Democrats, and that ultimately things are going to start changing, that Nancy Pelosi is not going to play her shenanigans anymore. We didn't see that on Wednesday. And then we started to see a little bit of it on Thursday. Let me explain to you what happened on Thursday. On Thursday, we had two memos. And when I mean memo, I actually have it here. It's just like a writing. It's like a shopping list, a memo. A memo from Mitch and a memo from a moderate group of people. Both of them were horrible documents because they didn't have a stimulus check in there, did not have eviction moratorium, it did not have mortgage forbearance. So I said, Purple Power, get the message out loud and clear for the next 24 hours. Slam everyone on social media, from McConnell's press secretary and communications director to Biden's transition team. Say, we need a stimulus check, we need eviction moratorium, and we need mortgage forbearance. This morning, by the end of yesterday, I told you 24 hours ago that while no stimulus check was in the deal memos, the door was open for them. And I said in last night's recording, you could drive a truck through it because what was happening was no one was agreeing upon anything. There was no agreement on even a memo. So if they were not agreeing upon it, we could push way in and say, how about a stimulus check? This afternoon, that became a reality. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders, and AOC all came out and said, this will have a stimulus check in it. Joe Biden Joe Biden was interviewed by a press reporter who I really just want to hug to death. I don't even know who it was. Said, why is there no stimulus check in this CR, Mr. Biden? Thank goodness someone finally asked about the stimulus check in broadcast news. And he says, oh, no. The stimulus check is still in play. The $1,200 stimulus check is still in play for the negotiations. We're still trying to put a $1,200 stimulus check into the CR. Everyone just sat back and just, oh my God, just breathed. But he didn't end there. It's as though Joe Biden had been watching this channel for the last 24 hours or reading your tweets. He said this bill does, these memos don't work because they also don't have an eviction moratorium. Does not have an eviction moratorium. And this is absolutely what's incredible. Eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, and stimulus check were the three things we were urging to get in there, and that's what he said. Now, it wasn't done then. Then came Bernie Sanders from the outfield. It's one of those days. Bernie Sanders came in and in a series of very angry tweets tonight said, this thing, and he referred to the moderates bill, which Nancy Pelosi had supported by then. This thing is the biggest bunch of junk I've ever seen. I'm not supporting it, and I'm going to ensure that millions of my constituents don't support it, and I'm ensuring that fellow senators shoot it down. It's horrible because it doesn't have a stimulus check. He said this bill only pays off a lot of rich people, and ultimately the people who need relief are the people who only get relief by a stimulus check. You have to have a stimulus check in there. So he says the bill will never pass unless it has a stimulus check. And guess what? In the case of Bernie Sanders, no one that's a Democrat in the Senate is ever going to approve this. Then came AOC, who represents the progressive wing of the Democratic Party in the Senate and a very large group of people that align with her and vote the same way. She said, I'm not supporting this. There's no stimulus check in here. Well, where the hell is a stimulus check in here? I'm not supporting this. So suddenly, the heavens of stimulus negotiations opened up. And everyone had heard your messaging and said, no, we want a stimulus check in here and we want an eviction moratorium. Now, I have more good news for you. Since the recording right before this, which is check, and it's over there, please watch that recording because it's a big update tonight. I learned from one of the viewers that a federal eviction moratorium has now been extended. The eviction moratorium, which was adopted by President Donald Trump in the executive order of the summer, which was mortgage forbearance that was adopted by President Donald Trump over the summer, is now extended to late January. This is for federally backed mortgages that were protected from forbearance, from losing your home. Under the executive order of Donald Trump, that has now been extended by law to late January. So all incredible, great news. So suddenly, your efforts of the purple power have done all this. Suddenly, you have gotten everyone to understand that their heads were screwed on the wrong way, and that they were crazy not to have a stimulus check in there. They were crazy not to have an eviction moratorium in there, and that the bill really is a big payout to rich people. It's nothing for people who need the relief the most. And that's where we are tonight. Everything that we thought was going to happen didn't happen. We had heard threats that Nancy Pelosi was going to go higher, higher than $900 billion. The problem, the moderates said if she did, they were not going to support it. The Republicans said that she did, they were not going to support it. Nancy Pelosi came out today and said nothing of any substance, which between you and I, and the 800 people in the room, between you and I really just think Joe Biden told her to zip it. I think he just told her to just zip it for once and just let the people in the room negotiate and agree upon something and stop disagreeing all the time. And she came out and she said nothing about the negotiations substantively. She said no numbers. She said no deal provisions or, this item or that item. All she did was do the thing that she does. America is beautiful and you're green and their cows are in the sky and we're all going to sleep a good night. That's what she did. Okay, well, thank you. And I'll read that in a novel sometime. So I'm very ecstatic that Nancy's hands are sort of not, fussing up something of these proposals at the moment. So there you are. So any money for sure. There's never anything for sure with these people. But the hardest thing with these people, if you've been with me for a while, is getting them to focus on the right thing. Getting these people to focus on a stimulus check is the hardest thing you can possibly do. Oh, and I forgot one other thing, is that broadcast news had this as the lead story tonight. Stimulus check. Where the hell was the stimulus check in there? Why was there no stimulus check in there? Who did this thing with no stimulus check? It was all over the place. And so suddenly now we have everyone focusing on a darn stimulus check, which they left out. With that, let's get to some CARES Act 1 relief. Who has questions about CARES Act 1? And let me answer it right now. Need rent assistance in Indiana. There should be some rent assistance in Indiana. I got 5,000. Oh no, that's something else. Iowa. We've had some success in Iowa. I would reach out to the volunteers. Duval County has rent relief, but I couldn't see what the person said. In Indiana and Iowa, I would reach out to the volunteers because we have had stuff. Colorado, you're getting a stimulus check. You're getting a Colorado and stimulus check. Dade County, Florida had a rent grant. Let's see. Tennessee's deadline was yesterday. Oh. Pennsylvania ended in November from rent. It did, Chris, but Pennsylvania residents, viewers are getting rent grants in Pennsylvania from different things than that one. I know that one did expire, but people have still gotten rent grants in Pennsylvania from, I believe it's privates, but I'm not positive. I can't recall, but they have gotten in the last few days. What about Alabama? Yes. It was either the Urban League or the State Housing Authority. Someone got a very big rent grant. It was almost 10,000. San Diego, you have one from your county that's announced. Georgia, you have rent grants all over the place. For Georgia, watch Purple from today. I had a big update about Georgia. Georgia, you have rent grants in all your major counties just announced. So watch Purple, which is the second video today. Montana, I don't know about Montana. I believe you should. North Texas, I don't know about North Texas. Arizona, yes. Texas, some of the Catholic charities are doing some Texas. New York, watch Purple. New York, you're getting a rent grant program all across your entire state. Cuomo's announced a massive New York rent grant for the state of New York. Michigan, I believe so, yes. I had a Michigan question yesterday. El Paso, I believe so. Connecticut, yeah, I got Connecticut questions last night. Ohio, I have a volunteer just for Ohio. Florida, yes, except in the case of maybe Broward. I think Broward is closed for rent currently. Martin County, Florida, it should be. Broward is the only one that I know is shut down. Oh, you like my, it's actually green, but it's coming up yellow on the camera. New Jersey, yes, people have gotten rent in New Jersey. California, San Diego, and then the rest of the state, they have it for utilities. Kentucky, they have stimulus. They do not have stimulus checks in Kentucky, but they do have rent grants from private organizations. I think it's Rise. Duval ended 2 months. Duval 2 months behind. I don't know what that means. Oh, you see green shirt. Okay, good. Tennessee, yes. Some people have gotten Tennessee. New Jersey, yes. Community action of Kentucky in your county. Someone's posting for Kentucky. Use community action. Houston, Texas. Jose. Jose for Houston, Texas. The county has a rent grant for Houston. The city of Houston just launched a rent grant. North Carolina, I believe so. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Can't find something. Oh, Sandy King. So I remember you for last night. You had the food. You're still looking for the rent, Sandy King. I would reach out to one of the volunteers, Sandy. North Carolina need help. Wisconsin, Maryland has a rent grant. Maryland has a watch Purple today and Purple yesterday. I mentioned Alabama. Excuse me, I mentioned Maryland today and I mentioned Maryland yesterday. Missouri for Angel, yeah, April. Missouri, you have utilities everywhere and then rent in St. Louis. Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida. I believe it should. Does Florida have any stimulus checks? Not that I've heard yet. Do you know if Utah is doing a stimulus check like Colorado? I haven't heard that yet. West Virginia viewer got massive stimulus, got massive rent in West Virginia. Florida has funds for homeowners. Oh, okay. That's a good one. Florida has funds for homeowners. So we learned something tonight. If you know something new, share it with the rest of us, because that's how I learn stuff. I know Barry Sanders. I'm still laughing about that. What about Oklahoma grants or stimulus? I think they have rent grants. Illinois, you have there is rent in Illinois. Now it's moving really fast. How do people get a hold of the volunteers? Go to YouTube. That's a great question. So go to youtube.com/LALATE/community. That's youtube.com/LALATE/community. And look through the posts, and it'll say volunteers on some of the posts, and you open it up and you see the volunteers. I've had people, some people send me private messages that says, I don't find anything in there. Well, if you just look at the first post, you're not going to find anything. Look down like one or two posts and you'll find it in there. What about Bay Area, Northern California? Not yet. No, I have not heard any rent grants for the Bay Area, California yet, but definitely utilities. Carroll County, Georgia. I've not heard that county in the Georgia counties I announced on Purple, but there's a lot of counties and they were just announced in the last 48 hours. So I'd not be surprised if more are not announced in Georgia. Someone said something about political action. Something said something about Hawaii, so I missed it. Orange County, California, utilities. Utah stimulus check. Haven't seen it yet. Louisiana, yes. Either it was State Housing Authority or Urban League. Mortgage assistance, California, no, but utilities. Sirloins at the Casita. Virginia, rent, absolutely. Hawaii gave us 5,000. Yeah, I saw that. The rent, the restaurant thing in Hawaii. Can you get a check for anything in San Diego? No, it's for rent. Vermont, I don't know about Vermont. Do I know the Tennessee winning lotto numbers? I do not. Florida has rent, utilities, and food assistance, says Barbara. Does Utah have stimulus checks? Not that I've heard. Kentucky. So in Kentucky, a viewer got rent grant from a private organization. I think it was Rise, but there was one night where we heard Kentucky, Mississippi, and another one in the same night of Purple Power Live. And so it was a lot for me to remember. But it may have been Rise. The volunteers know about it. Sacramento Housing Authority, $4,000. Oh, someone just said Sacramento Housing Authority, $4,000. When is the deadline for UI determination? Oh, that's a great question. So UI, you can always go on UI at any time. It's just the number of weeks of benefits. Community Action in Kentucky. Okay, so Teresa says Community Action Kentucky is very good for rent. Grants for broadband in Vermont and utility. Okay, so Vermont has utilities and broadband. PUA, need help for PUA. So for the person who said I need help for PUA, watch Becoming a Mitch, which Michelle Long Racker. Well, ask the question now, Michelle. Maybe I can grab it. But Being a Mitch is the new video which I do question and answer for unemployment assistance. Hopefully I can see your question in the next roll of the camera. Rent grants in Oklahoma, yes. Nebraska, not quite sure. Is a stimulus retro? I don't know what that means. Colorado, you're getting a massive stimulus check in Colorado. Anything with SSI and SSDI, says Elliot. That would be a standalone bill in January. Thank you, Alicia. Ohio cut 7 days off PUA. Will I still qualify if the CR goes through? Yes. That's the purpose of the CR, is that to cover those weeks that you've been cut off. So is there homeowners in Texas? Not that I've heard about. Anything from Mississippi, private organization. So if you're someone that have been removed for unemployment benefits because you ran out of weeks, the CR is trying to solve that by putting you back on those weeks. Boy, it's moving really fast. California has rent assistance. In San Diego. Elsewhere, it's utilities. Will Biden give us stimulus from April to June? Stimulus checks? No. I think Biden's planning to give you stimulus checks from January to June. So from next year's January to June. Oh, thank you for the nice comment, Shania. Is Alabama giving stimulus checks? It's giving rent. What about SSI? That would be a standalone bill. Can I apply for PUA if I was unable to work since April? Can you post it again? The person I just read that from, the PUA question. Just repost it again. I can see the pink very clearly in the emoji. California's giving $30,000 grants to restaurant owners. I know I talked about the other night. I think it's disgusting. I just think it's horrible. You never respond to what I asked. Maine stimulus. No stimulus checks for Maine, but I think there is Maine rent. Rent in Texas, yes. Rent in North Carolina, yes. Anything in Kansas, yes, I believe so. Homeless needs stimulus. You can get rent even though you're homeless. How many stimulus checks next year? That's asking me to really speculate with Joe Biden. But this pandemic's expected to go to June. So, it would at least be 2. But, I know if I say something like, it's going to be at least 2, then someone's going to say, you told us we're going to get 2 stimulus checks next year. You're asking me to guess what Joe Biden's going to do when he hasn't even given us clarity about when things would start or how they would start, or how he's even going to get through a GOP Senate if the Senate stays in control. Ohio is giving rent. Who built the cages, LA? What cages? Oh, those are cabinets. Thank you for your hard work. I appreciate it. I'm looking for that person who had the comment about the PUA. How about Florida? Is there anything for renter homeowners? Yes, Florida has county by county. So you want to go on your county's website. Some of the counties have shut down it by now. Broward was, I believe, shut down recently. Retroactive unemployment in the CR, no. Congress needs to focus on the Americans. They do. North Dakota and Wisconsin, I believe so. North Dakota, Wisconsin, and Maine. You know, tonight one of the volunteers told me that he alone has got 30 people in different states rent grants in the last few hours. So you see the success of the volunteers. So when you ask me if I know anything about Maine or North Dakota, I may not, but they certainly do because they may be doing a lot more than I'm hearing. I know successes because someone jumps in the Purple Power and says, "I got this," or they send me a private message. But I haven't. But if I don't hear it, then I don't know. Georgia State, yes, county by county by county, lots of major counties. Watch Purple today. I go over Georgia a lot in that Purple broadcast today. Thank you for Tucson. Thank you, Jorge from Tucson. Very Tucson. Very nice comment. When is HUD receiving the BOCO money of the CARES Act? I don't know what that means. There's rent assistance in Kansas, but you have to behind on certain months. So if you're running into problems with that, then what you want to do is look to the private organizations like Political Action Group or Catholic Charities. I think it was Jorge just posted something about Los Angeles. Can you post that again? If I missed your post, just copy and paste it again. Who do we hashtag in the Senate? So that's a great question. You want to hit Biden's transition team, which I think is like 54 transition. You want to hit Harris. You want to hit Senator Harris. You want to hit McConnell's communications director, McConnell's press secretary, Pelosi's chief of staff, and Sanders. You know, Sanders' tweet that talked about what I opened this video with only had 500 retweets. I was really shocked. Sanders' tweet saying we need 1,200 stimulus check only had 500 tweets. So a lot of people didn't even see it. I heard about it because of broadcast news. Albuquerque, yes, someone got rent in Albuquerque. Atlanta, Gwinnett, Cobb, and some counties in Georgia. Yeah, those are the counties in Georgia. Rent checks for the homeless. Yes. They'll give you first and last and some months to get into a place. Absolutely. And some of them will get you into an actual place. They're doing that in St. Louis. El Paso, I believe so. You do not have to take a COVID test. You do not have to take a vaccine to get the stimulus check. That's the most. I did that on one of the recordings this morning. I think it's so disgusting to say, I'll give you a stimulus check if you take a vaccine, but the rich people don't have to do it. I think it's just insulting. UI in New York. How about UI in New York? Yeah, UI in New York is the same way that I do all my UI recordings. So UI applies the same way. I got utilities paid in Kentucky. Thank you for all your awesomeness. Oh, so Teresa got utilities in I think I just said Kentucky. San Bernardino, utilities for Cecilia. Yes. How do you know my head would be signing? I don't know what it said. My daughter got her rent and electricity paid. Oh, congratulations, Linda. What city was that in? Maine. Yeah, I had a lot of questions tonight about Maine. Washington, we have a volunteer that is from Washington. Tennessee, yes, but not for mortgage. Mortgage is really a hard one. I got utilities in Vermont. Congratulations, Candace. Do you have merchandise coming? Says David Ortiz. I not the traditional, tacky T-shirt thing, but you will see a major rollout coming up, like a big ass thing, not some T-shirts. New Jersey, Tennessee. I got utilities in Pennsylvania. Tammy, well, there you go. Any help for utilities in Lassen, California? The utilities across all California. Stimulus checks in California, never. California has no money to send out stimulus checks to people. Absolutely never. Are they going to go back to September in the new stimulus? Or in the second stimulus package, which is the CR, they're not going back to September for anything. Are dependents receiving the $1,200 stimulus? Oh boy, now you're pushing me on that. I mean, I'm just trying to get a stimulus check at the moment. I don't even know the deal provisions. I mean, I noticed I was going to say, is it taken out for child support? Is it taken out for child? It's just, for now, we're just trying to get them to talk about stimulus checks. Alabama State Housing Authority, um, people have gotten big rent grants. Boston, Massachusetts, yes, viewer got $14,000 in rent in Boston. Rural Georgia, I don't know about rural Georgia. Nebraska, don't know about Nebraska. Arizona, someone's got something. Maine, we have a lot of people in here from Maine. Hazard pay, um, so hazard pay that would be in the January bill as well. Mississippi, Tammy, yes. So again, that was the night. It was 2 nights ago. Mississippi and Kentucky both got rent grants out of private organizations. One state was Rise, RISE, but I don't remember the other state. Wyatt, you're getting stimulus and you're getting rent in New York. Congratulations. Michelle, South Florida, stimulus in Florida. Rent in Florida. Any churches in Oregon giving debit cards to buy things? Oh, SSI and SSDI, standalone bill in January. Anything from Michigan? No, not that I know of. Mississippi Home Savers Program for rent. So someone just said Mississippi's Home Savers Program for rent. There you go. Could you say something about rent in Michigan? I could, but I don't know about anything particularly in Michigan or Connecticut and Maine. I've got a lot of questions about those 3 states tonight: Michigan, Maine, and Connecticut. Mississippi, same what I said a second ago. EIDL S4277. I just don't see that happening. There is EIDL in the third stimulus package. Hard to find stuff for Michigan. So if you are in here and you've looked for Michigan, for Maine, what was the other hard one we're having problems with tonight? I think like North Dakota, and having problems with it, please reach out to the volunteers. That's what they're there for. They're absolutely wonderful people, and treat them with respect. And ultimately, if they get you a rent grant in Maine, come back into the chat and share what you got, because that's sort of the community. That's the spirit of this community. So for the person who's asked about Maine and some of these states that I really don't know much about, go and get a volunteer to assist you. They're wonderful people. They do all the states. So you don't have to ask for a volunteer for a particular state. They do all the states with the exception of one for Ohio, and they will help look for you. Thank you for the nice comments. Boy, there's 1,000 people still in the room. Elliot, thank you for so much. Reaching out to Utah, but still no luck. Go to Nicole. She's awesome. Wonderful. That's great to hear. Nicole's wonderful. Reach out to Utah. No luck. Still looking for location updates. I would reach out to a volunteer. I would just reach out to a volunteer. Alabama, yes. State Housing Authority for Vera. State Housing Authority and Political Action Group. Did someone ask if I had an accounting background? I do not have an accounting background, but I did take corporate accounting in graduate school. Missouri. In Missouri, there's no rent that I have heard, with the exception of St. Louis, but the rest have utilities. What kind of volunteer? These are volunteers that are helping find the grants for you. Anything for Hawaii? I haven't heard anything for Hawaii. How can we reach out to a volunteer? You go to youtube.com/LALATE/community. If someone can type it in the screen, the link without the .com, so the person can see it again, youtube.com/LALATE/community, and look through there, and you're going to see the post for the volunteers. Property tax, no. And they really should have grants for property tax. I've been shouting about that since March, before even this channel started. It just doesn't make sense that they don't have anything for property taxes. Are we really going to get a stimulus check, LA? I believe if they get their act together, yes, you will. Econ major. Oh, wonderful. No, I was not an economics major. Aloha, Robert. What about Tennessee? Yes. Montana, and that's the other hard one for Montana. Yeah, that Teresa just posted the link to the website to the place on YouTube. Teresa just posted it. All you do is put a .com in there, and ultimately look through the list, look through the post, and you'll see volunteers. Let me say that again slower. So when you go to the community page, you're on the community page, and you'll see me post something. I don't know, whatever. Watch this video coming up. And you'll see watch this video coming up, and then you'll look down. Oh, then there's another watch this video come up. Then you look down, then it'll say volunteers. Like, oh, there it is, it says volunteers. I've had some people reach out and like, I went to the very first post and there wasn't anything there. Well, I'm like, look down for another post a little bit further down, and then you'll find it. Will Sam be able to come with lockdowns? I don't know. Well, there we go. Thank you for tonight's chat. Don't miss check. It's in the pinned comment below and over in the pin to the right. Watch check because there's big developments. I answer a lot of your questions in check. And that goes over the stimulus check, your state stimulus checks, which are brand new. And so don't miss that recording. It's now available to watch. It's in the pinned comment here and in the pinned comment to the chat over here. Don't miss that. And then join me tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Eastern Standard Time for Mornings LALATE, followed by 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for part 2. Thank you, Nancy, for the super chat as well. As always, stay informed, stay focused, and stay up LA for more. Have a great evening.